Hi, my name is Gabrielle Beans, and I'm a research scientist turned science educator. My field of research was in studying population genetics of penguins by looking at DNA from living penguins, as well as from their 7,000-year-old bones. But today, I'll be introducing agent-based modeling of complex adaptive systems. And there are many different ways to model natural phenomena or man-made systems. Each type of modeling is appropriate in different circumstances. And we're going to focus today on one type of modeling known as agent-based modeling. In agent-based modeling, you create the model by describing the agents, giving them rules to follow, and then letting them interact with each other and their environment. The model can then be used to run experiments that could help us understand the real world. For example, you could create an agent-based model of an ecosystem by creating some predator agents and some prey agents. And then you could see the resulting population dynamics as the predator and prey interact. Another thing you could do would be to create an agent-based model of an epidemic by making many different agents to represent a population and see how a disease might spread through the population by having healthy agents become sick after touching a sick agent. It seems pretty simple, but agent-based models can actually be very sophisticated and can be used to model and understand complex adaptive systems just by giving agents simple rules to follow. To make agent-based computer modeling easy for beginners, we will use a computer modeling and simulation tool that helps with creating agents and giving them rules to follow. This way, you don't need advanced mathematics to work with interesting and powerful models. So let me walk you through the thought process we use when planning a model. There are certain questions that can help us to guide our design of agent-based models. I'll share these questions with you as well as an example of how we answer them. So the questions are, in the first place, what is the scientific question you're interested in? Question number 2, what is the phenomenon, system, or process that you need to model to answer this question? What are the features of interest to model? And how will you capture data on these features? Who or what are the agents? How do the agents behave and interact with each other or the environment? How will you build and test your model? And then how will you use that model to run experiments that help you answer your original question? So say we were interested in modeling an underwater ecosystem with fish, kelp, and sharks. In our example, we've answered the questions like this. So question 1, what is the scientific question you're interested in? The answer would be, how does an ecosystem with predators and prey remain stable? Second question was, what is the system or process we want to model? And in this case, it would be an underwater ecosystem with fish, kelp, and sharks. What are the features of interest to the model? Well, we hypothesize that certain parameters, such as how fast the fish, sharks, and kelp reproduce, as well as how much energy the fish gets from eating kelp and the sharks get from eating fish, will affect each species' longevity in the ecosystem. It would also be important to track the numbers of fish, kelp, and sharks over time. So, how will the model visualize these features? By using different shapes for each agent. And who or what are the agents? Well, the agents are the 3 species making up the ecosystem: fish, kelp, and sharks. And how do the agents behave and interact with each other or with the environment? All of the agents move around randomly. When a fish agent encounters a kelp agent, it eats it. The kelp disappears and the fish gains energy. When the shark eats the fish, it also gains energy. The fish and the shark reproduce when they have the right amount of energy, and the kelp reproduces at a rate independent of energy. Another question was, how will you build and test the model? And so how we're going to do that is by using an agent-based modeling program to build the model. Afterwards, we'll run experiments, collect data, for example, by changing how often the different species can reproduce, or by changing any other variable that we're interested in. And what can we learn from this model? So in this particular model, we could gain an understanding of how delicate the equilibrium of an ecosystem is by seeing how easily one species can take over and the others go extinct. Agent-based modeling has been successfully used by teachers and students to model and study complex adaptive systems. We really hope you'll enjoy creating agent-based models too. It'll not only help you understand systems in a different light, but you might be surprised just how much fun it can be.